Hi, if you clicked on this video, it's because you're interested in earning in-state tuition for your student at UT Austin. First and foremost, why is this even important? Out-of-state tuition is 3.6 times more expensive than in-state tuition. This has lots of legal ramifications with the state of Texas because UT is part of the University of Texas system. So we need to find a way to make sure that you and your family are not overpaying for the same thing that Texas residents get to enjoy for a far discounted rate. One of the main ways that you can achieve in-state residency, which is what qualifies you as an in-state tuition receiver, is to purchase property in the state of Texas. And you might ask, okay, well, why would I purchase a property in Texas, and why is this a better method as opposed to the other forms of earning in-state residency, which could be getting married, which most college students is just not a viable option, or starting a business, and this can't be some side hustle. You need to have actual profits and losses, and it can't be a student-based business either. So real estate tends to be the most viable, least effort, and it has a lot of underlying benefits, which we're going to cover here today. First and foremost, the cash flow potential. Who wouldn't love to have an extra couple $100 in their pocket every single month while their student is actually on the road to getting in-state residency? The second benefit would be tax benefits. This is basically uniform and ubiquitous across all real estate investments, and this is no exception. Third would be the peace of mind. If you buy the property and you want your student to actually live in that property, you can control their environment just a tad bit more than if you weren't the owner of the property itself. And last but not least, the tuition savings. There's $30,000 on average that you'd be saving per year. So multiplied over a 3 or 4 year period, you could stand to save about $100,000 by sending your student to UT Austin with in-state tuition as opposed to the out-of-state they would by default be receiving. So all of these 4 reasons which I've cited are part of just a real estate investment. So you might ask, okay, Ed, you've convinced me I want to buy a property, but why would I go for something that's around the campus area or something that's student housing? And that's a great question to ask. And there's a few reasons as to why a student housing property would be the best suited for this purpose. First and foremost, a low vacancy rate. There is an abundance of demand for student housing around the University of Texas. For reference, UT's population is 40,000 in just undergrads alone, and with postgraduates, we're north of 50,000 total. And there are not that many properties in the West Campus area, so there's always a demand for housing here. And this is very evident as you see big corporations like Greystar and Lincoln Properties and other big developers that keep putting up skyscraper after skyscraper in the neighborhood. And you bet those people have a very extensive underwriting team that is telling them that the demand is still present. Second, extensive marketing. Due to the academic calendar being the main force driving the purchases and leasing of residential real estate in the West Campus area, everything operates on a August to the next July basis. For example, all the students move in August 15th is approximately the date, and they all leave that apartment the next year, July 31st. This allows us a very extensive marketing period for us to pre-lease these properties. So you're not having to deal with maybe a 60-day notice that you'd have if you bought a property elsewhere and tried leasing it to somebody, where they give you a notice 60 days before, hey landlord, we're not going to be renewing our lease. And now you have 60 days to find a tenant or a student to go ahead and inhabit your property and pay you rent. With this, we can start marketing your property even like 10 months in advance. And this also contributes to the low vacancy rate, which we aforementioned in this video. Third, low default rate. A lot of these students are going to be paying for this with financial aid or with the aid of a guarantor, most likely their parents. So we so far have the low vacancy, the extensive marketing opportunities via pre-leasing, and the low default rate. Last is low volatility in asset pricing. In Austin, Texas, at the time of this video in late 2023, there's a panic in the real estate space because the interest rate environment has become somewhat unfavorable compared to previous years at least. A lot of people have been priced out of the market in a lot of other areas of the city, and prices have dipped a lot because of that, since sellers have had to be responsive to that lessening in the buyer demand. However, in West Campus, real estate acts a lot more on a pure investment basis. And the cash flows, as we've mentioned, because of those three reasons that we just mentioned, the low vacancy, the extensive marketing, and the low default rate, cash flows have not fluctuated much, and as such, the property valuations are relatively steady. This means, and I'll be fully transparent here, your investment is not going to skyrocket the same way it would with the value of the property as if you bought something maybe in East Austin. However, those previous benefits would not be present in East Austin, and you'd be dealing with higher vacancy rates, with low time and between tenants where you have to find a tenant quickly. You'd lose the ability to control where your student is going to live, and there's a whole barrage of pros and cons on both sides. But for in-state tuition resident seekers, West Campus, in my opinion, is the way to go. So now that we've covered in-state tuition, what do we need to get it? Buy a property in Texas, amongst some other little details. We've established we need to buy a property, and now we've established why West Campus in the North Campus area and student housing in general is the best market to accomplish this. The last question is, why would you use me or our team in order to accomplish this? My name is Eduardo Duran. I'm a licensed real estate agent and investor here in the Austin, Texas area. Like I mentioned, I'm a UT Austin alum. I have worked in the West Campus real estate market for 3 years, going on 4 now, and I've done over 300 separate lease deals myself in the area, and I currently run a team of 21 licensed real estate agents, all of whom are students. The company is called Lease with Ease, and it's actually a parent company to Longhorn Condos, and we partner together so that when you buy a property through using my services, the next most important thing for your cash flows and for all the different things we just spoke about is finding a tenant. And our team partners with you so that we can prioritize your listing over the hundreds that are in the area, such that my team of 21, or whatever the team size is at the time of you watching this video, which is likely to grow, we will prioritize your listings at the top of our list. We get thousands of leads every year of students looking for housing, and we show them different apartment complexes and condos. And if they want a condo, yours could be the first one on that list. So once again, my name is Eduardo Duran. Please check out our website, scroll through it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we'd love to help you get that in-state residency.